Hey everyone! Today, we're gonna use flowers to take care of flowers. Sounds interesting, right? Have you ever tried this before? If your orchid isn't growing strong or seems to be developing slowly, then you definitely don't want to miss this expert tip for orchid care. It's simple but super effective, and it can really help your plants thrive. If you find this helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to support the channel's growth. Thanks so much, everyone. To have a strong and healthy orchid, the very first and most important step you should never overlook is giving your plant a thorough cleaning. This means carefully inspecting and treating any root rot, as well as removing any damaged, yellowing, or dying leaves. Taking the time to do this not only helps prevent the spread of harmful diseases and pests, but also allows the orchid to direct its energy toward producing fresh, healthy growth instead of struggling to fight off infections. When you remove those old, unhealthy parts, you create a cleaner and safer environment for your orchid to thrive. This fresh start helps the roots breathe better and the leaves absorb nutrients more efficiently, ultimately setting a solid foundation for vibrant green foliage and stunning, long-lasting blooms. Let's take a closer look at the flower spike. It seems this spike doesn't have any clearly visible buds, which means unfortunately, we won't be able to use it for propagation or flower care. Without distinct buds, the spike won't produce new blooms. So it's better to focus on other healthy spikes that show promising growth. Let's go ahead and carefully cut off the flower spike to help the plant focus its energy on growing new leaves and roots. Removing the old or non-productive spike prevents the orchid from wasting resources, allowing it to stay healthier and stronger overall. This way, the plant can put more energy into developing vibrant foliage and preparing for future blooms. So now, before we move on to applying any kind of fertilizer or treatment, we're going to start with something really simple, but super important: spraying the orchid gently with clean water using a misting bottle. You might wonder why we're doing this, but actually, this step is kind of like waking up the plant. When you spray clean water over the leaves and roots, especially in the early morning or late afternoon, it helps stimulate the tiny pores on the surface of the leaves. These are called stomata. Once they're activated and open, the plant becomes much more responsive and ready to absorb whatever nutrients or natural solutions you'll be applying next. This isn't just about cleaning off the dust or making the plant look fresh. It actually supports the orchid's breathing process too. Through those little pores, the plant exchanges gases with the air, and when they're functioning well, it leads to better photosynthesis. That means the orchid can turn sunlight into energy more efficiently, which is crucial for healthy growth and blooming. Also, lightly misting the plant helps maintain the right humidity level around it, which orchids absolutely love, especially if you're growing them indoors or in a dry climate. And when the plant is well hydrated, both inside and out, it can take in natural fertilizers or treatments much more effectively. All right. First, prepare 2 fresh rose flowers. Try to choose ones that are fully bloomed but still vibrant and not wilted. The fresher they are, the better the natural nutrients they'll provide. Roses contain beneficial compounds like natural oils, antioxidants, and gentle acids that can support plant health when used properly. These flowers are not just beautiful. They also have properties that can help nourish and protect your orchids. The stamen of a rose, which includes the pollen-producing part at the center of the flower, is actually one of the most nutrient-rich and biologically active parts of the bloom. Alright, now take the 2 rose flowers you prepared and place them into the blender. Make sure to include the petals, stamens, and even a bit of the base of the flower if it's soft. These parts contain natural oils, vitamins, and antioxidants that are great for your orchids. Pour 500 milliliters of water. After blending, go ahead and pour the rose mixture through a fine mesh strainer or cloth to separate the liquid from the pulp. This liquid will be our gentle, nutrient-rich solution for orchids. But hey, don't throw away the leftover pulp. That rose residue still holds a lot of valuable nutrients, and you can absolutely use it as fertilizer for other plants in your garden. Now take 3 tablets of vitamin B1 and crush them into a fine powder. Vitamin B1, also known as thiamine, is super helpful for plant health, especially for orchids. It promotes strong root development, reduces transplant shock, and helps the plant recover faster from stress or damage. Stir the solution. Soak it for 15 minutes. After about 15 minutes, once the vitamin B1 has fully dissolved into the water and the nutrients have had time to activate, go ahead and give the solution a gentle stir to make sure everything is evenly mixed. Then, pour the mixture through a fine strainer to remove any leftover undissolved particles. Stir the solution. Alright, so step 1 today is all about giving our orchids some extra love through the leaves. We're going to use this beautiful homemade solution made from rose petals and vitamin B1. Honestly, this combo is just so underrated. I mean, who would have thought you could use actual flowers to care for flowers, right? But it works, and it works beautifully. Now, let me tell you why we're using roses. They're not just pretty to look at. Rose petals are full of natural oils, antioxidants, and plant hormones that actually help improve leaf health and slow down aging in the plant. They're super gentle, but they carry a lot of power when it comes to supporting the immune system of your orchid, especially when your plant is recovering from stress, damage, or just not looking its best. The rose solution gives it that little push to perk back up. And then we've got vitamin B1 or thiamine. This one's kind of like an energy booster for plants. It helps with root development, reduces transplant shock, and supports cell repair. So when you combine the roses with vitamin B1, you're basically creating a natural tonic, kind of like a multivitamin smoothie for your orchid. So now, here's what we do. Take a clean, soft cloth or cotton pad, dip it into the solution, and gently start wiping the top side of the orchid leaves. This part is so important. By doing this, you're helping the plant open up its stomata. These are tiny openings on the leaf surface that allow the orchid to breathe, absorb CO, and release oxygen. It's also how they take in moisture from foliar feeding. So by cleaning the top, you're helping it photosynthesize better and stay more energized, which means more growth, more blooms, and overall better health. But don't stop there. Be sure to gently wipe the underside of the leaves too. This part is often forgotten, but it's actually where a lot of dust, mold spores, and tiny pests like to hang out. When the undersides are dirty, it can block gas exchange and cause stress to the plant. So when you wipe down there, you're not just cleaning, you're helping the orchid exhale properly, letting it release extra moisture and maintain balance. And this makes such a difference in its day-to-day health. Oh, and bonus. The scent and compounds from both rose and B1 make this solution act like a mild natural pest repellent. Pests like red spider mites, aphids, even some types of thrips. They really hate this combo. So by keeping your orchid clean with this method, you're also protecting it from future infestations without needing to reach for any harsh chemicals. Pretty cool, right? Now, timing is key. You should always do this leaf cleaning either in the early morning, like before 9 or 10 a.m., or later in the day after 4 or 5 p.m., once the sun has calmed down. If you do it under direct sunlight, the moisture left on the leaves can magnify heat and cause burns. Plus, plants are more receptive during the cooler parts of the day, so it's the perfect time for them to absorb all the goodness from our rose and B1 blend. Alright, so moving on to step 2. This is where things get really convenient, especially if you're juggling a busy schedule but still want your orchid garden to look vibrant and full of life. What we're going to do is take that rose and vitamin B1 solution we made earlier and pour it into a spray bottle. But not just any spray. We want a fine mist, like a gentle morning dew settling on your plants. This misting technique is incredibly useful because it allows the nutrients to be absorbed quickly and evenly by both the leaves and the roots. You see, orchids naturally thrive in humid environments, and misting helps recreate that moisture-rich atmosphere around them. When the air is properly humidified, the roots can breathe better, and the leaves stay supple and healthy, which means the whole plant develops more evenly and robustly. Now here's a little fun fact about orchids. Their roots aren't just for anchoring the plant. They actually absorb moisture and nutrients directly from the air. So by misting, you're essentially feeding your plant in a way that mimics its natural habitat. Plus, keeping the air around your orchids hydrated reduces the chance of drying out, which can stress the plant and stunt its growth. You don't have to do this every day. Once a week is enough to keep your orchid happy and thriving without overwhelming it. And a quick heads up, when your orchid is already in bloom or has flower buds forming, try to avoid spraying directly on the flowers or buds. Moisture sitting on blooms can sometimes cause spots or mold, so it's best to focus the mist on the leaves and roots during this delicate stage. So yeah, this misting trick is perfect for anyone who loves their orchids, but maybe doesn't have a ton of time to fuss over them daily. It's easy, it's effective, and it helps create a mini environment that your orchid will absolutely love. Give it a try, and you'll start to see the leaves looking fresher, the roots plumper, and your orchids standing tall and strong. Just a quick heads up, make sure not to spray the solution directly onto the flowers. Doing that can cause spots, discoloration, or even mold to develop on the delicate petals, which can ruin their beauty and health. So it's best to focus the misting on the leaves and roots only, especially when your orchid is blooming or has buds forming. This way, you keep the flowers safe while still giving your plant all the nourishment it needs. Alright, so for step 3, here's where the magic really happens. We're going to give the orchid a thorough, deep watering using the rose and vitamin B1 solution we prepared. This isn't just any watering, it's a way to help the roots soak up every bit of the essential minerals and nutrients that are packed into this mixture. Roses contain natural antioxidants and compounds that promote healthy growth. And vitamin B1 is known to boost root development and help plants recover from stress. So, when you combine these two, it's like giving your orchid a supercharged health boost from the inside out. Now, to get the best results, you want to do this deep watering around 3 times every 2 weeks. It might sound like a lot, but orchids really benefit from this kind of regular nourishment. The key thing here is timing. After you water the orchid with this nutrient-rich solution, you should only let it soak for about 20 minutes. Just 20 minutes? Leaving the plant in the solution for too long can actually backfire. Orchids don't like sitting in wet conditions because it can cause root rot, which is when the roots start to decay and break down. And trust me, root rot is one of the biggest problems for orchids. It can quickly turn a healthy plant into a struggling one. Also, think about the minerals in oats, which are another fantastic source of nutrients for orchids. Oats are loaded with potassium, magnesium, and calcium. These minerals strengthen the roots, help with nutrient absorption, and generally improve the plant's overall health and resilience. When combined with rose and vitamin B1, it's like giving your orchid an all-around multivitamin that helps every part of the plant thrive. So, this watering method basically feeds your orchid in a very direct and effective way. The roots get to absorb all these good nutrients deeply, which then supports the leaves, stems, and eventually the flowers. You'll notice the leaves becoming greener, firmer, and more vibrant. And your orchid will be healthier and more resistant to pests and diseases. But remember, don't leave your orchid sitting in water for too long after watering. After about 20 minutes, it's best to lift the plant out and let it drain properly. Keeping the roots wet for too long creates a damp environment that encourages fungal growth and rot, which nobody wants. It's all about balance, giving the plant enough moisture and nutrients, but also making sure it has good airflow and can dry out a bit between waterings. Soak it for 20 minutes. After soaking the orchid in the nutrient-rich solution for around 20 minutes, the next important step is to gently remove the plant from the liquid and carefully dry its leaves using a soft cotton cloth. This might seem like a small detail, but it really makes a big difference in keeping your orchid healthy. You see, orchids are sensitive to having too much moisture sitting on their leaves for extended periods, which can create the perfect environment for mold, fungal infections, or other issues that can harm the plant. By softly wiping the leaves dry, you're helping to prevent these problems before they start. It also helps open up the leaf surfaces so they can breathe better, which means they can more effectively carry out photosynthesis, the process by which the plant converts light into energy to grow and bloom. When the leaves are dry and clean, they're better able to absorb sunlight and exchange gases through their stomata, those tiny pores on the leaf surfaces which keeps your orchid energized and strong. Another benefit of using a soft cotton cloth is that it's gentle, enough to avoid damaging the delicate leaf tissues while still removing any leftover residue from the solution or dust that may have settled on the plant. This gentle care reduces stress on the orchid and promotes a healthier environment for it to thrive. So taking just a few extra minutes to dry the leaves properly after soaking is a key part of the whole care routine. It's like giving your orchid a mini spa treatment, ensuring it stays fresh, clean, and free from problems caused by excess moisture. This careful attention helps your plant stay vibrant, disease-free, and ready to grow beautifully, showing off those lush green leaves and stunning blooms you've been nurturing it towards. After letting the orchid soak for 20 minutes to fully absorb all the minerals and nutrients from the solution, we'll carefully lift the plant out of the liquid. This step is essential because it prevents the roots from sitting too long in moisture, which could cause problems like root rot. By removing the orchid after this optimal soaking time, we ensure it gets just the right amount of nourishment without any risk of overwatering. This balance helps keep the roots healthy and strong, ready to support vibrant leaves and beautiful blooms. After about 25 days of consistent care and treatment, the leaves of your orchid will show some really noticeable improvements. You'll likely see that the leaves have become a deeper, richer green, which is a great sign that the plant is healthy and thriving. They should feel firmer and more robust to the touch, no longer limp or weak. The surface of the leaves might also look shinier and smoother, reflecting the fact that the plant is well hydrated and nourished. You might also notice new growth, small, fresh leaves beginning to emerge, which means your orchid is actively developing and gearing up for its next blooming cycle. After 25 days of nurturing and consistent treatment, the roots of your orchid will have undergone a remarkable transformation. Healthy roots should look plump, firm, and have a vibrant green or white color, indicating that they are actively absorbing water and nutrients. They won't be shriveled, dry, or mushy, which are signs of root stress or rot. Instead, they should feel sturdy and resilient when gently touched. You might also notice new root tips emerging, which is a fantastic sign that your orchid is actively growing and expanding its ability to take in nutrients. After 25 days, the flower spike and purple blooms on your orchid should look really strong and vibrant. The flower spike itself will be sturdy and upright, showing that the plant is channeling energy into producing beautiful blossoms. You might notice small buds forming along the spike, getting ready to open soon, which is always exciting because it means a fresh burst of color is on the way. The purple flowers, when they start to bloom, will have rich, deep hues that really stand out, showing the plant is healthy and well-nourished. This orchid has noticeably larger and sturdier leaves compared to others. The leaves are broad and firm, giving the plant a strong, healthy appearance. Their thickness and resilience show that the plant is well-nourished and capable of supporting vigorous growth. These robust leaves not only look impressive, but also help the orchid efficiently capture sunlight for photosynthesis, fueling its overall vitality and blooming potential. The roots of this orchid are strong, thick, and have a deep, rich color, which is a great indicator of a healthy and well-established plant. These robust roots show that the orchid is effectively absorbing nutrients and water, providing solid support for the entire plant. Their firmness means they're not weak or damaged, and the darker hue often signals maturity and vitality. Such strong roots are essential for sustaining the orchid's growth, helping it stay resilient against stress and ready to produce beautiful flowers. And that's it for today's Orchid Care Update. Thanks so much for watching and joining me on this journey to healthier, stronger plants. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a tip. Drop a comment below to share your own orchid stories or questions. I love hearing from you.